Thank you for listening to Episode 5 of No Holmes Barred. This is an independent passion project, so please, remember to subscribe and leave us a positive review if you are so inclined. For bonus content and information on No Holmes Barred events, please visit noholmesbarred.com.
Heretofore on No Holmes Barred.
I'm happy to pass along that our great city of Chicago will host the 1893 World Columbian Exposition, but we are already faced with great challenges. Time is short.
A whole year of pissing contests about the location of the fair, and we come up with this.
We can sell plots of land to independent contractors and permit them to build while taking a percentage from their earnings. That way, we'll not only expand the fair, but also save on the overhead of construction costs.
That's a fabulous idea. We could also protect ourselves from liability in the event those buildings explode or something.
The fact of the matter is, Madame Palmer has been flooding the building with her exhibits and is acting of her own accord without any communication or permission.
Your position is noted, Miss Hayden. A tasteful homage to womankind's contributions is simply lost on you. How sad for our wonderful building.
There's been zero approval, let alone construction of our centerpiece.
When the customers see Ferris's creation, it's the patriotic rebuttal to France's towering monstrosity. And when word spreads, it will catch like wildfire.
Let's lay off the fire expressions, Hunt. We may be building a new city, but this is still Chicago after all.
30 workers have died working on the fair.
It's like, hello, when you construct 200 plaster buildings on only 600 acres of swamp and do it in a foot of snow, someone might lose an appendage or die. Nobody wants to work anymore.
We have 5 months until opening day, and do you know what we don't have? Everything that we need.
They want slavery? Then we ought to bring it back and see how they like it.
Gentlemen, I understand we have a lot to do today, but Mr. Frederick Douglass is here to meet with us.
Frederick Douglass?
Oh, Gad, what have we all done now?
Come with me, if you will. I could not help the fact that I was a murderer, no more than the poet can help the inspiration to song, nor the ambition of an intellectual man to be great. I was born with the evil one, standing as my sponsor beside the bed where I was ushered into the world, and he has been with me ever since. No Holmes Barred.
Mr. Atwood, you couldn't have reminded me a little earlier that Frederick Douglass was scheduled to meet with us today?
Well, Mr. McElroy insisted on being seen. I can fetch Mr. Douglass right away. Sullivan?
Dirt boy.
Mr. Douglass. I must say, this is quite the honor for this board to make your acquaintance, and you've brought a lovely guest with you. I want to assure you that regardless of the outcome of this meeting, you will have the full cooperation of the World Columbian Exposition's Board of Directors.
Indeed, Mr. Burnham.
Can this board go 10 minutes without everyone spitting?
Hey, if that's the worst part of your day, I'd say you're living your best life, Burnham.
Additionally, on behalf of the board, we are all touched that you would bring your lovely wife to this meeting as well. Mrs. Douglass, how do you do?
She is not my wife.
Oh, girlfriend then. Forgive me, I must have been mistaken.
It happens. My name is Ida B. Wells. I am actually a reporter for Free Speech. Have any of you heard of that?
No.
Free speech is just a theory, like evolution.
It's a newspaper, actually. I've also collaborated with Mr. Douglass.
Quite the honor, I'm sure, Mrs. Wells. Mr. Douglass has certainly had many accomplishments throughout his distinguished life, hasn't he, gentlemen?
How validating. But allow me to better understand. What accomplishments are you all referring to, specifically?
Thinking outside the box. Synergy. Taking it offline.
Well, you see, it's obvious with your many, Anyway, Mrs. Wells, you said that you're collaborating with Mr. Douglas, correct? What is the nature of this collaboration?
It's Miss. And actually, we were hoping you can tell us more about that.
Me?
All of you. While you've been making plans for this fair, it is evident that there are still a few unaddressed matters. So, Ms. Wells and I, as well as Ferdinand Barnett and Irvine Penn, we compiled a pamphlet that we're quite proud of. It explains the role of the colored American in the world's Columbian Exposition.
Really? What do you call it?
It's called The Reason Why the Colored American is Not in the World's Columbian Exposition.
I see.
Where would you all get an idea like that you're not involved?
Where, indeed. It's an absurd notion, isn't it? We wouldn't have ever known if it hadn't been brought to our attention by one of the 0 black Americans on the board of directors.
And secondly, our exhibits have been completely spurned by every department of the fair, including the people running the women's building.
Oh, not them again. Look, their lead architect broke down and cried already from being ridiculed and undermined by the benefactor of the building, who is also a woman, so it's been taken care of.
How did you take care of it?
Well, naturally, I arranged to send her to a mental institution for her hysteria.
Is there a part of that statement that's supposed to reassure us?
Well, what else was he supposed to do, Frederick? You heard him, she was crying.
I'm sorry, but could we get back on topic, please?
Yeah, I don't see what sending away the only woman architect on our payroll has to do with representation at the World's Fair.
We know you don't.
That's why we're here.
I'm so lost.
Yes, that is also our fear, Mr. Burnham.
Indeed it is.
Stop doing that.
What even is the meaning of this? You're wasting our time.
Yeah, and what am I doing here? Serious question.
It's of the essence.
I am not.
Not you. Time.
Oh, yes. It shan't be wasted.
Believe us, we're tired of wasting time too. We're tired in ways you couldn't possibly imagine.
Are you hitting on me?
But neither I, nor Mr. Douglas, nor any of our community at large have any interest of enlightening you specifically. However, if you're curious, I would implore you to read our leaflet along with the rest of your attendees at the upcoming fair.
Over dinner, perhaps?
Whoa. You intend to ask our permission to distribute abolitionist propaganda about African American representation at the World Fair?
No, Mr. Burnham. We intend to distribute it regardless of what you do or do not permit.
Is that right?
You've already approved of our building in the fair, which stipulated our autonomy. Despite that, it is clear that African Americans aren't being given a voice in this fair's planning. So why would we assume they'll have one come opening day?
Mr. Douglas, I can assure you that we aren't quashing African American contributions. The many accomplishments of your kind, you kind people will be on equal display with the rest of the fair's exhibits.
What more could you want?
Right. Can we maybe talk about these exhibits?
Fire away.
Okay. What can you tell us about the prominently featured work from African Americans? What can you tell us about any work from African Americans? Black people? Do they get to do anything?
The nation of Haiti will be attending, as far as I understand.
Yes, I know.
So you knew that you had Haiti's pavilion, but still challenged us? Sounds like another gotcha question.
I'm not a journalist. You do know that, correct? Does he know that?
Look, Mr. Douglas, while I do sympathize with your sentiments regarding the incongruity of races, I'm afraid this is a done deal, but I want you to know this wasn't a decision implemented carelessly. We did our best.
Wow, okay. I'll admit I just blacked out of self-preservation, but this is an explanation I gotta be here for.
What I think we've established here is that the plight of the African American Negro is far too complex for our board to understand.
Really?
Yes, especially with slavery having ended less than a generation ago. There are going to be things we can't always get right. Therefore, rather than trying to get it right, and failing, I'm afraid it's better to leave this matter out of our hands.
But you're in charge of the fair.
We are, but when we discussed the matter, we realized that having racially segregated exhibits is not in the interest of the fair, nor the world at large.
Especially when it's coming together in the name of unity and a celebration of progress.
So instead, we've decided that any Negro exhibits may instead be submitted to screening committees established for the various state exhibits. For example, if the Negro display pertains to South Carolina, they can take it up with the South Carolina building, and so forth.
Precisely. Instead of us dictating who has the right to exhibit at the fair.
We decided this was really more of a states' rights issue.
You can understand that, right?
I can say we have heard that one before.
Yes, we have. Is there anything else?
Ugh, what more do you want? We've also acquired an entire village of pygmies for display.
A village of...
What does that entail?
Don't ask that, Ida.
So that's the line for you then?
They've actually been living on the grounds for months, even though the fair isn't quite open.
Dear Lord.
I don't understand. You all want to be featured, yet you're literally the only exhibit on display right now. What's the problem here? Give an inch, they take a mile.
What message do you think you're all sending if this human zoo is the only black representation at the World Fair?
Now, Ms. Wells, no need to get uppity.
Excuse you?
I'll try to put this in terms you can understand.
Told you, Ida. Brace yourself.
How?
We aren't journalists like you, Miss Wells. We aren't the ones crafting any message here. We're just simply presenting to the world whatever the world sends us. Why does it rest on our shoulders if you don't like the way the world works?
Oh, right. Your hands are completely clean in this.
Your words, not mine.
It might do you some good to look into the responsibilities of journalists, too. For the record.
Dirt Boy, make a note in the record. I will even permit you to use ink with your quill this time.
Miss Wells, Mr. Douglas, we appreciate your concern about the pygmy village, but at the end of the day, we can't help it if you don't like the way you're all portraying yourselves. Maybe that'd be a more interesting pamphlet instead of putting all the blame on us.
I assume you want to be referred to as the White City in that pamphlet, too. Yes?
You really mean to sit here and tell us that you're going to do nothing?
All right, we hear you. Let's just see if we can move this along.
Burnham!
Enough, Mr. Hunt. It's no secret that we need all the help we can get if this fair is going to debut smoothly. So let's just fix this. What if we set aside some sort of special dedication day for you? You can book your own speakers. Both of you could speak as well, if you'd like.
And what else?
Did you have something in mind?
You could say that. What assurance do we have that this won't be made into a mockery? That you won't use this day to ostracize and further alienate our culture from the world? Othering us at an event that is supposed to proudly demonstrate the world's progress over the years.
So what do you want? Like advertising? Disperse some flyers? I believe you're already planning on something like that.
Generous.
If the board is to sponsor this dedication day, surely the board would provide its full-throated support. Unless, of course, you want to have your names associated with something that is seen as an utter failure.
Their names?
They don't understand anything beyond themselves. It's just said as a starting point.
I can get Puck Magazine to cover it. I can ask Schwartzman and Kepler.
Ask? Asking doesn't seem like you're guaranteeing anything.
Well, perhaps your company over a candlelit dinner would let us guarantee more, right, Mrs. Wells?
No thanks. I don't date white after Labor Day.
Even if this were guaranteed, you're offering nothing more than a mere mention, Burnham. A footnote.
Mr. Douglas, I know you're being facetious.
No.
But Puck Magazine is a pillar of print media in America. Even a footnote would drive scores to your event.
I am familiar. I am also familiar with their racist messages that they conceal under the thin veil of satire.
Actually, satire can't be racist because they're always just joking.
Puck Magazine will publish a fully colored, multi-page spread, I assure you. They could have it distributed on opening day, something jubilant where your people are portrayed positively, enjoying themselves and embracing their tribal culture.
I don't think I like where this is going.
Well, they can illustrate all of what makes you folk you. Dancing, percussion. Help me out here, boys.
Spears, shields.
Watermelons.
Mr. Atwood, Mr.
They'll
Hunt.
call it Turkey's Day at the Fair.
Sullivan.
Oh, enough. We are not interested in how a white magazine interprets our culture, let alone how it thinks we embrace it. And we are not going to sit here and have it explained by you for bags of flour.
Seriously, it's like you're all dressed up as your own spice racks.
Dirt boy.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Mr. Douglas, we've been patient. What more do you want? Maybe Hunt was right. Give an inch, they want a mile.
Yeah, and they don't have the decency to do any of the farm work that mile of land needs.
Whoa!
Well, it's true. We repealed slavery almost 30 years ago, and now you want the royal treatment. I don't know what more you people want. Blacks in the White House?
Nobody wants to work anymore.
Nobody wants to work anymore.
Ida, come on, let's go. There's nothing more worth discussing here.
There is one more thing. I spent the last year in England, where I studied and attempted to gain a better understanding of how white people in another country see black people. I mean, they were often shocked when I spoke. One even said, I had thought all colored persons were ignorant and incapable of education. It was degrading. And those people didn't necessarily mean to belittle me by presuming me ignorant. They simply were the ignorant ones. There is a point, though, where intent no longer matters, even if the bar is already low. They no sooner mourn the lynchings of us, lynching of human beings, any more than they would mourn a horse being put down and left to decay in your streets. No amount of ignorance excuses dehumanizing human beings, gentlemen. Somebody must show the world that the Afro-American race is more sinned against than it is sinning. We repealed slavery, yes, but we are more than just not property. It shall not be thought, as it is abroad, that the colored people are brutes and that these murderous lynchings are justified. I would have hoped that the fellow human beings, as deplorable as they can be, would challenge their harebrained predilections. Just know that until you do, we will continue challenging them ourselves. When you come around, let us know. I mean, maybe somebody will care. And as for me, I will not begin at this late day by doing what my soul abhors, sugaring you weak, deceitful creatures, you men with flattery, just to retain you as escorts or to gratify a revenge. Shame on you all, you ethically bankrupt failures. Good day.
Hey, Burnham?
What?
Do you think we could let Chicago have its own dedication day, too?
Sure. Whatever.
Neat.
Dateline, Chicago, May 1893. Everyone from all over America and the world at large make their way to the World's Columbian Exposition. I'm Sol Bloom. Let's take a closer look, shall we? Everyone who's anyone is here. Harry Houdini, Thomas Edison, Buffalo Bill Cody, Annie Oakley, and the guy who will write The Wizard of Oz one day. Susan B. Anthony, Mark Twain, but he's been sick in his room for 11 days, so not him. And introducing Derek.
Hello, I'm Derek. Hello.
And so many more have come to show their pride. Who could forget the presence of our recently re-elected mayor, Carter Henry Harrison? After a one-term hiatus from his 4-term tenure, Mayor Harrison is back in office on the back of a worker-friendly platform and his trademarked quacks.
Mr. Mayor, will you be riding the Ferris wheel?
Do you agree that belly dances at the Midway represent deplorable acts of wanton carnality?
Is it true you really carry a stuffed eagle with you and ride a white steed?
If money doesn't grow on trees, then why do banks have branches? The citizens need to know.
No, hell no, yes, and in fairness to the old saying, most bank branches around here have basically burned to the ground amid this worsening financial crisis. Now, let's go find us those 200 barrels of whiskey I ordered to celebrate my mayoral victory.
Wait, the trees can also burn to the ground. Mr. Mayor! Mr. Mayor!
It'll take a lot more than a crippling debt to keep Americans from going all out. How about we take you back to our Columbus Dedication Day, 1892. 7 months before the official opening of the World's Fair. Even with the fairgrounds still under construction, the Manufacture and Liberal Arts Building was ready to host 140,000 Americans on Dedication Day. Scores packed the 32-acre floor to witness several renowned speakers, including President Benjamin Harrison himself. And we were there to witness it, but not even we could get close to the stage.
Fellow citizens, every external condition and some internal condition affecting my strength admonish me that I should speak to you with brevity.
Wait a minute.
I have enjoyed greatly.
This is dumb.
This is extremely dumb. We can't hear you.
Not with you shrieking, we can't. Hate when people do that.
There are 1 million people here when maybe 100 can even hear anything.
Someone, please invent a microphone and then give it to the president.
And to our electricity building. It's where fairgoers can hear dulcet renditions of the world-famous New York Philharmonic Orchestra. How can that be, you ask? The New York Philharmonic Orchestra is in New York. Well, through the miracle of electrical and auditory innovation, thousands of fairgoers will hear renowned musical performances by way of long-distance telephone. That is, if they huddle closely enough.
Quit shoving! Hey, this band's pretty good.
Yeah, they're okay, but I liked them better before they sold out with these long-distance concerts.
I can't hear anything.
You can't hear anything, so shrieking like a banshee is the solution that you go with?
Yeah, you're as bad as people who talk while they're yawning. Everyone's gonna ask you to repeat it again anyway.
Oh, I hate when people do this. I hate those people. Hate them.
And since we've discovered how to deliver audio to the eager masses, we can now broadcast through the airwaves and into your homes. This technological advancement will do wonders for the podcasting industry.
Hey there, listeners. Rod here. Welcome to a very special episode of my podcast, The Rodney Cast. For the first time, we're being broadcasted beyond the four walls of my bedroom. So if you can, please like and subscribe and leave us a good review. To do that, simply draw 5 stars onto some paper, crumple it into a ball, and hurl it at my window, I guess.
Hurl. That's the same as barf.
Hey, remember that time we went over to Hortense's house, then something funny happened, but in a you had to be there way?
Oh yeah, let's make everyone listen to that.
In relevant matters, the fair's exhibits, whether artistic, scientific, or literal human zoos, are on display for the world to see. Those in attendance are mankind's first witnesses to cutting-edge innovations such as the zipper, Aunt Jemima's panned cakes, a Liberty Bell replica made entirely of oranges, Pabst Blue Ribbon, shredded wheat. The excitement is contagious here, and even in the urban backdrop of our famed White City, drink in the lush, natural setting of the Wooded Isle. Planned by landscapist and architect of New York's Central Park, Mr. Frederick Law Olmsted.
Greetings, patrons. Thank you for gathering today to bear witness to my humble vision. You won't see one steam engine in this area. I personally guarantee it. I hear your argument, Gregory, but that's spurious reasoning. Now, as the officiant of this wedding, I'd like to continue lest anyone else object. Well, you could have said something at the rehearsal, Gregory. it'd be improper now. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here...
Still desire that urban backdrop, you say? Well, why didn't you say so? Get the real urban experience when you travel to our Haitian pavilion. You may catch the orations of famous black person Frederick Douglass.
We should not forget that the freedom you and I enjoy today is largely due to the brave stand taken by the black sons of Haiti 90 years ago, striking for their own freedom. They struck for the freedom of every black man in the world.
Yeah? And what are you gonna do about this Negro problem, Frederick?
Yes, it appears the real problem has been given a false name. It is called Negro for a purpose. It is substituted Negro for nation because the one is despised and hated and the other loved and honored. The true problem is a national problem. The problem is whether the American people have honesty enough, loyalty enough, honor enough, patriotism enough to live up to their own Constitution. Does that answer your question, sir? Sir? Where'd he go?
Frederick! Hey. Apparently that man just died. He choked trying to swallow his chewing gum and thought stuffing shredded wheat down his throat would make it easier to digest.
Huh. Remind me to thank his mortician.
And once our guests have their fill of nature, the Midway Plaisance is where all of our human exhibits come to life. We have Algerians, Samoan Islanders, Dahomeyans, Egyptians, Inuits, all the inferior races coming together as one to show the world just how deeply entrenched white America's insecurity is.
Should, we feel bad about gawking at all these people?
What do you mean? Slavery's over. Go nuts.
Oh, okay then. Place your bets, everyone. I got a Samoan ready to swim the entire lagoon in under 10 minutes. 20-1 odds. Where are my takers?
The action always gets around at the World's Columbian Exposition. But if you ever need assistance, every street is lined with our privatized police force, the World's Columbian Guard, to assist you with any of your needs.
Excuse me, sir. Where can I see the Pope today?
I believe the Vatican, ma'am.
Oh. And where would that be?
Italy.
Oh, of course. Which way is that, then?
But if you want to get around like never before, then head over to our proud exclusive centerpiece, the one that's here to out-Eiffel, the Ferris wheel. Make your way to a 20-minute journey of riding and dining in pure luxury while you take in the city's view like never before. Each of its 36 cars is stocked with a lunch bar, ready to serve you and 59 other riders. 50 cents is all it will cost to make enough memories to last a lifetime.
Oh boy, this wheel's still safe to ride if you have a crippling fear of heights, right?
No.
Okay, well, up we go. Oh God, let me off.
Hey, stop that! Why is he just sprinting back and forth? He's gonna break the screens.
Forget the screens! If he keeps struggling, this whole car is gonna fall right off the wheel!
Why is he even here? What did he think this wheel was gonna do?
10 minutes later.
Oh God, I am so sorry, everyone. Thank you for your patience. So glad we're on the ground. So sorry. See, when I was a child, I had this bad experience where... Okay, why aren't we stopping?
The wheel makes 2 revolutions.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, God, no, not again.
Oh, you're damn right, not again.
Poke his eyes so he can't see the heights.
There. Everything's fine. It's okay. You're okay. You're okay.
Tell me I'll be okay.
Shh, I just did, sweetheart. Get the fuck over yourself.
I knew you had to cloak his eyes, but I didn't think you'd cover his whole head with your skirt.
Well, thank you for the input, Kevin. Next time I'm 200 feet in the air with a hysterical stranger, I'll try to remember my modesty.
You don't have to.
Oh, shut up.
If our Ferris wheel can't wriggle your jimmies, wriggle them instead over by our bona fide Jimmy Wriggler. The World's Columbian Exposition Memorial. We've ceremoniously etched the names of everyone who sacrificed their lives so that the fair could go on. It is their heroism which permits us to gather today and lord over lesser cultures of the world, while they entertain us like zoo animals.
Oh, look. Those are the names of the people who died in the runway bobsled accident last month.
Oh, relax. Only one person died from that. The other 5 just suffered horrific injuries when the bobsled jumped the curve and landed on them 15 feet below at full speed.
Well, and the 30 workers who died building this fair.
Yeah, well, don't forget the ones who got sick from overworking and died later.
Right. Yeah. That's a lot of death. But call me crazy, I still have a really good feeling that the worst is over and that no more bad things will happen at this fair. Nothing, I say. Okay. Want to go watch that Samoan Islander swim across...
Oh, heck.
Fire! Fire! Again, Chicago? This friggin' city. Somebody get the Colombian Guard. Get Daniel Burnham.
Burnham? The guy in charge of the fair, which is on fire. Literally, his name is Burnham.
This is not the time for pointed irony.
Everyone, don't panic. Laugh at my pithy wisecracks and we'll all be okay.
Thank God, Mr. Burnham. It's bedlam out here.
What on earth happened?
It's the cold storage building. It...
Out with it, then.
The spire caught fire, and now it's a funeral pyre. That's what's being said, according to the wire.
Oh, cold storage. That's not dire.
What? Why not?
Cold storage isn't one of our buildings. That building was a private venture.
You intend to just let it burn?
I'd rather it didn't, but that's the fire department's problem. Not our O'Leary's cow, not our farm.
So?
Mr. Burnham. Excuse me, Mr. Burnham. James Fitzpatrick, captain of the Chicago Fire Department. I'm going to need you to make your privatized police force get people away from the building.
Oh, God. People are trapped?
We can't confirm if they're trapped because we can't get through at all. Apparently, half the fair heard an explosion and against all logic decided the smart thing to do is to run toward it and start having picnics.
We're out of ham sandwiches!
Sarsaparilla here, one nickel!
You need to tell me right now, is anything else in that building explosive?
Probably. That building isn't even ours.
You're in charge of all the architecture.
We don't know what's in there. It's cold storage. There's an ice rink and a couple of exhibits. I think there's a few papier-mâché sculptures of ocean creatures. Gigantic whales, massive great whites.
Oh, the huge manatee!
Screw this. Get as many people away as you can.
I'm sorry. What? We're still on the air. How? Come to the World's Columbian Exposition, where the excitement spreads like wildfire. Right. Come to the World's Columbian Exposition if you want to get a good view of the smoldering wreckage. Bring those blankets. Space is limited. How was that?
Meh.
Hope everyone's okay.
12 firemen died.
Oof. Really?
Yeah. Awful sight. Sitting ducks on the platform next to the top of the cold storage building. There was another explosion below them, And they just started shaking hands, nodding, and hugging, and then jumped to their deaths. I'm glad the building had an elevator and all, but maybe some stairs would have been useful. Oh, we lost the fire chief, too.
Captain Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
More like...
Don't you dare.
Captain Fitzcoffin. Sorry, that was in poor taste. He'd be in an urn, most likely. Why not? Half the work's already done. Decent crowd today.
Thank you for listening to Episode 5 of No Holmes Barred. This is an independent passion project, so please remember to subscribe and leave us a positive review if you're so inclined. For bonus content and information on No Holmes Barred events, please visit noholmesbarred.com and sign up for our newsletter, Your Murder Castle Mailbag. Be vigilant for Episode 6's premiere, in which H.H. Holmes gets blindsided by his enemies. No Holmes Barred was written and directed by Daniel Ciarrocchi, recorded, mixed, and mastered by Evan Kornblum. Additional tracking and production courtesy of Still Thinking Productions and the Coniferous Lounge. Episode 5 of No Holmes Barred stars Sam Sessa as Burnham, Dave Heilker as Frederick Douglass and Olmsted, Al Washington as Ida B. Wells, Willy Landon as Sullivan, Michael Finney as Sol Bloom, Steve Bortz as Hunt, Jacob DeNobel as Atwood. Additional voices by Daniel Ciarrocchi, Evan Kornblum, Megan Perkins, Matthew Richardson, Alex Bond, Daniel Lohan, Steve Bortz, and Dave Heilker. And Tom Colegrove as Derek. For more, watch Michael Finney's documentary, 1893 Chicago's Columbian Exposition, by clicking the link in the description for streaming options. For a supplemental, augmented reality preview of the 1893 World Fair, please follow chicago.1893 on Instagram and Facebook. Listen to the Speaker Cone podcast for more of his content.